Maurice, can you still hear me? I can't hear anybody. Hey, Maurice?
Yes, Sandra?
Yeah, I can't hear the council.
All right, I'll turn it up. How's that?
That's a bit better,
Hear
yeah.
the mayor?
Yeah, just barely.
Well, that's as good as it's going to get.
Okay.
All right, once again, welcome back, Council. It's been 4 weeks. We're a little bit rusty, so I will try and take my time tonight and not miss too many cues. Appreciate in advance everybody sticking with me. So first up tonight, I would like to acknowledge that we are having this meeting on the Tanaha homelands, as we have each and every meeting, and want to start out tonight with the addition of a couple of late items that are highlighted in our agenda. With those additional late items, could I have a mover for the agenda, please? Councillor Dallum, thank you, and Councillor Goodwin seconds. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. All right, next up, we need to adopt the minutes of the regular meeting of council held on December the 13th, our last regular meeting. Mover, please. Councillor Oakley moves and Councillor McBain seconds. Any opposed? All right, that motion is carried. Okay, into the agenda. First up this evening was to be a public meeting with regard to the zoning amendment at 2665 Warren Avenue, the Western Lodge. However, due to some notice issues, in other words, the notice of the public hearing not being the length it needed to be, we need to postpone the public hearing this evening to February 14th, I believe, Maurice, is that correct? Yeah, I'll come to that in a sec. So we will be postponing to February the 14th. However, what I would like to do is to ask whether there is anybody who is connected here tonight that was expecting to speak to this public hearing. Okay, so the proponent? Yeah, hi, Mark. So did you wish to speak this evening, which you can do prior to our postponement, or you can defer your comments to the actual public hearing when we reconvene on February the 14th? Your choice.
If there's no comments from anybody, I'm happy to defer till the 14th.
Okay, awesome, Mark. Yeah, there would be you were the only one to speak this evening, and council, of course, would not have any comments until we actually do the public hearing or post-public hearing. So if you're cool to do that, that's awesome. Thank you.
That sounds fine. Thank you very much.
All right. Do we need a motion to postpone, Maurice?
It's really important that we say it. We need to adjourn the public hearing to February 14th.
Yeah, I think I said that. I will say it again. We need
There's
to adjourn the public hearing to February the 14th.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. No motion required. So with that, we'll move on. And Mark, thanks for being here tonight. We'll see you on the 14th. Okay, first or second up, I guess. First up with regard to decision making tonight is the development variance permit for 101 Sullivan Drive. And we have two motions on the agenda this evening. I guess we should do these in two separate motions, Maurice?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the first is that council approve the development variance. We'll have Troy speak to this in a moment, so I won't go into the details. Councillor Kiddo moves, and can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Roberts seconds. Discussion. Go ahead, Troy.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You can hear me okay there?
We can.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so this is just to follow up at the last meeting in December. This application was previously considered by council, and council gave direction to issue notice to adjacent property owners. That has all been completed, and just today we've just received one submission towards the variance question there, and as you'll see from the response from our planner, Ariane, there was a question around just a clarification of what the setback variance was about. She's provided that clarification that it pertains to the accessory structure retaining wall to relax the front setback from 6 meters to just a little over 4 meters, and also to decrease the to vary the parking requirement from two stalls per unit to 1.6 stalls per unit for the proposed development. So I think that answers the question. That there wasn't any objection to the parking. I think there was some, like I said, a question of clarification about the setback, but no major objection there. And like I said, no other submissions received there. So we are recommending that council proceed on the variance, and secondly, proceed and approve the overall development permit to allow the construction to proceed here this spring.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Troy. Council, any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. The second resolution out of this particular variance is about two conditions that are being attached to the variance. One is obtaining a building permit prior to the placement of any buildings, which is pretty usual. And the second is to provide security prior to issuance of the building permit that is equal to 125% of the accepted cost estimate to complete the landscaping plan. Could I have a mover, please? Councillor Kiddo, thank you. And Councillor Goodwin seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? That motion is carried. Next up, we have the fourth quarter billing report. Move receipt. Councillor McBain, thank you. And Councillor Goodwin seconds. Any discussion? All right, just for benefit of the public, we had a pretty good year building permit wise again in Kimberley. It added up to just under $24 million, about a $6 million increase over last year, but a tad short of where we were in 2019. So pretty much right in the middle. Pretty awesome year. I would note that despite that large number, it's really residential that's carrying the load for us. We have not really seen any increase in our commercial building over the last few years, but given the number of inquiries that are coming in now, as our population has begun to grow, we're starting to see more interest in commercial development here in the community. So stay tuned. I suspect 2022 will be one of those years where we will start to see some of that development. Of course, what that means, it's larger building permits. The value of the individual permits is larger. And it's going to mean incremental, much more incremental tax revenue to the city as well. So great year. Good year productivity wise, Troy. Did you want to make any comments?
Not much to add there, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for that summary. Just point out similarly there with new dwelling units, 72 new units last year. Fair bit ahead of the previous year, but slightly behind the 2019 again. But we expect another busy year next year. We've had 2 new subdivision phases open up in Marysville Views and Forest Crown, so we'll be seeing some building permit applications for those 2 new areas here in the coming weeks and months. And of course, council just approved 9 units up in town site. There'll be a few other projects underway next year. So yeah, should be another really good year for us.
Excellent. Thank you, Troy. All right. Any further questions or comments? Call the question on receipt. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Next up, we have the Kimberley Public Library art sculpture placement request. A bit of a mouthful. Two motions arising out of this. The first, that council approve the request from the Kimberley Public Library for the installation of an art sculpture in front of the building. Could I have a mover? Councillor Dallum, thank you. And Councillor Kiddo seconds. Discussion. Go ahead, Councillor Oakley.
Mr. Mayor, I will not be voting in favor of this evening. I have some red flags that have arisen as a result of this. I'm just a little bit concerned about the direction of usage of space in the plat, so I'd rather have a policy firmly established for any projects that might be presented to the city to be placed there. And I think that needs to happen. I also think there should be some degree of hesitation and postponing these initiatives as because of possibilities of needing space for future infrastructure projects such as washrooms and stuff like that. And also the in-kind grant, $1,200. I think that there should be a process there to apply for that, and I'd rather see that money go elsewhere, to be honest. So the options that are presented, I just don't agree with them. So I'll be voting against this.
All right. Thank you for that, Councillor Oakley. Additional
Mr. Mayor?
comments, Council?
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, go
If
ahead,
I may.
Sandra. Yeah, please.
My first thought was, I do recall a presentation from the Arts Council a year or so ago, where they are initiating the concept of having statuary throughout the community. And it occurred to me when I heard that they wanted to put this in front of the library, that that's where our only other piece of statuary is. And it seems to me that if we're going to do a community type of a statuary aspect to things, that we should be spreading it around a lot, and it shouldn't just be in one place. So I was actually going to choose to question that as well. I'm sure it's a beautiful piece of work, but I think we need a plan.
Thanks for that, Sandra. Go ahead.
I'll keep it short. I agree that we could probably use a plan, but at the same time, there's a part of me that feels that we could use every bit of art or, that type of thing to try to create some positive vibes right now in the town. I think the idea of having a plan, or at least, coming up with something that is a little more prescriptive is great. But for now, I think this is a one-off, and I think it's a good thing.
Thanks for that, Councillor McBain. Further? Councillor Dallum, go ahead.
I would just like to know what red flags have come up, Councillor Oakley, if there's anything beyond what you've said that we should be aware of with this. I mean, otherwise I'm kind of the same mind of Councillor McBain.
Okay. Councillor Oakley, go ahead.
Sure. No, I'll answer that. Well, for obviously the cost, I am concerned about that coming at a time that's not in sync with our grant requests annually. So there's that piece. I don't agree that art should go into the plaza without a policy, because what if we have 20 more that come after this? And what do we do? So we're setting a precedent. And I think first you should be establishing a policy on this, how it's going to unfold in the community. And I also think that the priority should be for infrastructure. I did mention the bathroom. So I'd rather see us hold off until we get all these other things sorted out. So that's it.
Further? Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Goodwin.
Yeah, I think I can agree that a public art policy would be a good idea. But I also think that because the sculpture has already been created, because it has a natural tie-in with the library, it being a book in an odd form, but still a book. And given that staff has approved the location, I think we can go ahead with this one, but maybe we should be looking at how we approach public art in the future. more public art is good. The few pieces that we have around town, I really appreciate. So we do want to see more of it, but having a plan for it would be good.
All right. Anything else? So I'll just make one quick comment, and that is that this particular piece of public art was donated specifically to the public library. That I mean, it's a book. It's in keeping with the theme of the library, and no matter what policy we would or wouldn't have in place, this is specific to the library, and having it at a spot out in front of the library. I mean, we'd be doing that regardless of what the policy is anyway. So I'm fully in support of this. All right, last call. Call the question then. All those in favor? Those opposed? Councillor Oakley is opposed. The motion is carried. Oh, and I'm sorry, Sandra, I missed. You're opposed?
No, I'm in favor.
Okay, thank you.
I agree with you. It belongs to the library.
All right, thanks so much. Okay, next up, we have the provincial and regional COVID-19 restrictions update with regard to parks and facilities. And I believe we have Nicole on the line here tonight to walk us through this. Just prior to you making your comments, Nicole, could we get this on the floor? And that is receipt of the staff report. Oh, to the previous? Okay, beg your pardon. Hang on, Nicole. We will get to you here shortly. The second part of the previous motion was to approve the application submitted by the Kimberley Public Library for a $1,200 in-kind grant from the Community Grants Program. Councillor Kiddo moves and Councillor McBain seconds. Do we have any further discussion on this? All those in favor? Any opposed? Councillor Oakley is opposed. The motion is carried. Sorry about that, guys. You would have thought by this point in the meeting, the rust would have been shaken off. However, all right. So next up, we have receipt of the staff report on the COVID-19 restrictions for parks and facilities. Mover, please. Councillor Goodwin, thank you. And Councillor Dallum seconds. Discussion. Okay, Nicole, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor McCormick, and good evening, Council. I just wanted to provide an update as it applies to the provincial orders and parks and facilities here in Kimberley. As you can all imagine, this has been a bit of a roller coaster ride, not only for all of us personally as we navigate this crisis in our country, but also the community and our facilities. So I first off want to start off by applauding staff for how they've reacted to this. We are out there doing our best to ensure that the safety of the community is of the utmost importance. So I applaud them for those efforts and the changing battles that we go through daily. So this is just an update here in terms of what has lately been happening at our facilities. So at the Aquatic Center, as of December 23rd, aquatic facilities require proof of vaccination for those 22 years and older to participate in programming. So that was a change from when we originally had opened up in July, which didn't require proof of vaccination. So why the province decided to make that change, I haven't been able to find a reason. I would suggest it was just in terms of looking to provide overall consistency throughout recreation and its programming. So aquatics was the only thing that I can see wasn't involved with vaccination requirements. So I think that's why they chose to bring it underneath their umbrella. We do remain at 50% capacity within the facility at one time. So not really seeing an overall effect in the programming numbers there. I guess maybe I'll ask if there's any questions about aquatics first, because it's a bit of a complicated piece in terms of our facilities. So did council or mayor have any questions?
The 50%, Nicole.
Yes.
What type of impact or has that had any impact on demand at the Aquatic Center?
Early on, we were operating at a capacity of 50 in the building at one time. So that was 40 participants in the pool and 10 staff members at any one time. So when we reviewed the numbers and when we got a little bit better direction from public health, they indicated that 50% capacity was it. So as you know, there's 3 different swimming pools at our aquatic center. The lap pool being the largest with a capacity of now 80, the leisure pool at a capacity of 60 now, and the hot tub a capacity of 10. Ultimately, we never reached the numbers of 80, 60, and potentially the closest we ever come to is 10 in that hot tub. So that's why we chose to go to the 50%. Staff are monitoring and reminding participants that 50 are to try and maintain their distance while in the pool, but we have yet to reach those numbers since opening in July.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Further?
So, sorry, Mayor.
Nope, go right ahead. No further
Yeah.
questions so far.
Great, thanks. So at the Civic Center, we've seen essentially no real changes here from what we've been doing since what I will call the beginning of ice season, so October. We've done some different things in terms of requirements for masking and sizing, or the number of people on the ice. However, ultimately, we're at 50% capacity, which means most programming can happen with little to no effect on how a minor hockey practice is offered. However, individuals 22 years and older are required to provide proof of vaccination. So that's our adult sports leagues. That's our adults who are volunteering at youth events. And that's individuals that are attending events at the Civic Center. So for example, a Dynamiters game, those 12 years and older for spectators are required to provide proof of vaccination. 22 for participation, 12 for spectators. That's the difference there when it comes to vaccination requirements. So other than that, it's a constant reminder of participants to wear their masks when not actively participating in sport. So that's travel around the facility, coming in and out, filling up our water bottles, things like that. So just that constant reminder of masking. And then another big one for us was the elimination of tournaments. So that's trying to obviously limit travel amongst communities. So we have seen obviously a reduction in programming as a result of this because tournaments can no longer be played at our facilities. Does anybody have any questions surrounding how COVID's affecting Civic Center operations?
Council? Nope. Oh, okay. A little slow on the
yeah, sorry.
there, Daryl.
I do have a question, Nicole. How is the request for vaccinations, how is that going over? And have staff received any pushback?
With everything during this crisis, there's been a learning curve, I think. And I think for the most part, it's all about communication and getting the message out to the public. So it's, you know, December 23rd hit, December 24th, we had programming, right? So that person that starts the car, gets up, heads out to go swimming at 7 o'clock in the morning, didn't realize there was a change in regulations, right? So I think it's just constant communications, checking the website for updates. But for the most part, we haven't run into a whole lot of frustrated people. I think everybody's trying to do their part to keep the community safe.
Sandra?
Yeah, Nicole, are you including the Marysville Arena? I'm not sure where we're at with Marysville Arena. Are we even open?
Marysville Arena, yes, currently still is operating. We have very limited programming happening there because typically what happens in Marysville is it's a supplement rink that's used for tournaments. So a number of our tournaments were canceled as a result of the decision to eliminate out-of-town tournaments this year, not attracting people to the community to try and keep our numbers down. And now, obviously, with loss of programming, because of now local tournaments are canceled even, at least until the end of January, we have seen a reduction in hours over at Marysville.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Further? No further. Go ahead, Nicole.
So essentially, I just want to say thank you to the council for listening to the updates that we're providing. Hopefully you can share the information that I've given to the citizens that you guys interact with daily. I appreciate everybody's patience through this time. I know it's been difficult for everyone, but again, staff continue to do our best to ensure that areas are clean, we're wearing our masks, and we're ensuring that those that are coming to our facilities are vaccinated.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Nicole. Kudos to you and your staff for what is an increasingly active moving target. Things have been moving throughout COVID, but it seems as we're getting back into the dog days now, things are even less certain and a little more volatile, and you guys are doing a great job at adjusting. My last question is, what is consuming most of your time, COVID or snow removal?
It certainly is a mixed bag, Mayor, but I would suggest of late, COVID has been very actively up on my browser.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Thanks so much.
Last call for questions. Councillor Dallum.
Just wanted to say thank you, Nicole, and echo what you had said about your staff and the amazing work that they do and have continued to work through these very uncertain times. So just wanted to let you know that you are quite appreciated.
Scott's taken note of that, Nicole. I'm sure your performance appraisal is coming up soon.
Perfect.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll
Thanks,
talk
everyone.
to you soon. You bet. Okay, next up we have a Columbia Basin Trust Outdoor Active Recreation Grant request. And the motion is that council directs staff to apply for the CBT Recreation Program Grant in the order of $100,000 to fund the completion or the complete construction, I should say, of the playground that's planned for Swan Ave. Councillor McBain moves and Councillor Goodwin seconds. Do we have any discussion on this? Councillor Kiddo?
I am in support of the grant application here, but just one concern comes up about this project continuously since it was brought forward quite a while ago. Is going to be a pretty congested area if that park becomes successful, and it looks like it's going to be a great park. But we've been working really hard over the years to decrease traffic to that area of town. And that's my only concern, is that a new park there could increase some congestion in the Swan side.
Yeah, thanks for those comments. I recall a while back when last time it was before council that congestion and just traffic into the area was the big concern that most folks had. I guess if the grant comes forward and they get to the point of doing final planning, for this, I'm sure it will come back to council with recommendations. Nicole, did you have any comment about that?
Thanks, Mayor. Actually, so unfortunately, Pam is away today, so I was able to speak to this. I'm very happy that council supported this opportunity to apply for this grant application. And yes, my plan is to sit in and be actively involved in the planning processes and the implementation and construction of this park. And one of the areas and concerns that I have also brought forward is parking and congestion. So certainly will be top of mind when the shovels hit the ground, Councillor.
Further? Hearing no further. Sandra, did you have your hand up?
Oh, no. I was just thinking, though, there's been a skating rink there for how many years, but somehow or other they've managed to keep alive. So, the kids are used to being back there. Just saying. No, I didn't have any comment.
Other than that comment. All right. Thank you, Councillor Roberts. Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a couple of check runs. One in the amount of $260,206 and the other $334,117. Could I have a mover, please?
So
Councillor
moved.
McBean. Thank you. Councillor Roberts seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That motion is carried. All right, last up, we have a number of items to be received in correspondence. Could I have a mover to receive? Councillor Kiddo, thank you very much. And Councillor McBain seconds. Do we have any any comments? Go ahead, Councillor McBain.
No, I'll comment on the correspondence we received concerning the gymnastics fire. I mean, it's, I don't think, every time we receive some of this, it just reminds you how awful, something like this is. And, I think there was some frustration in town of, maybe things weren't or haven't been moving fast enough on progress of the center, but just know, and I think I can speak for everybody here, that nobody is happy about this. This is a terrible, tragic thing, and it's affecting a lot of people, especially kids, and it's just a heartbreaking thing, and hopefully we can figure a way out of it. But I just appreciate the outpouring of concern and support, and just want people to know that it hurts as a town when something like this happens. So
thanks for that, Councillor McBain. Call the receipt, or call the question on receipt, I should say. All those in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. All right, that ends the formal agenda for this evening. We're down to question period. And if there is anybody that has been viewing via YouTube that wishes to ask any questions about anything covered this evening, you are welcome to call, and the number is 800-741-7180. The meeting number is 2493-490-8083. I hope you had a pencil in your hand, waiting for that one. While we are waiting to see if any calls come in, we'll do the roundtable on councillor activities. Councillor Dallum.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a different meeting number in mind. It's 2493-490-5083.
What did I say?
8083. Sorry.
Okay.
Or else
5083 is the number.
I've been known to hear things wrong as well. So
one of us is dyslexic, which means we should clarify. The number to call is 800-741-7180. And the meeting number is 2493-490-5083. Okay, round the table. Councillor Roberts, since you are not at the table, how about we start with you?
Thank you. I'm afraid I have nothing to report in this new year. That's it.
All right, it's early and you are out of town, so get back safely.
Yes, thanks. It'll be another couple of weeks.
Councillor Kiddo.
We had a Tourism Kimberley meeting last week, and of course the big thing to talk about was the huge impacts on the ski hill with the loss of the main chairlift. Talk about devastating. It's been a pretty tough time for the resort, but kudos to Ted Funston, the general manager, and his staff of pivoting and trying to create a silk purse out of a sow's ear, I guess. The cat's running up there. I think Tourism Kimberley were talking about getting some marketing going just to get the message out to the community that the hill still is open, and also to our visitors. But we've lost over 50% of the bookings for the winter so far. So yeah, it is quite devastating. But lots of good ideas coming from the group, how we can resurrect the season the best we can and get the message out there that there's more things to do than skiing. Doubly disappointing today was to hear that the fire was malicious. It is arson. To that person, good luck if we ever find out who you are in the town. That will draw and quarter you. But yeah, good luck to the RCMP and for finding the culprit there. Thanks.
Thank you for those comments. Councillor Dallin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All my meetings are postponed for a week each, so next time.
Councillor Goodwin.
Kimberley Community Development Society met again to continue the process of winding everything down, and that seems to be going fairly smoothly. We're looking at stopping our operations, laying off staff, etc. It's not a happy process to go through, but I think it's going fairly smoothly. And I think we did have a health center society meeting just after the last council meeting. We have a number of leases that we're in the process of renegotiating. We also have potentially a new lease, but it hasn't been finalized yet. So we'll have more to say on that next meeting.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Kent. Daryl.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am happy to report that spring is just around the corner. Although meetings have been canceled, I heard Townsend Solitaire this morning in Lowe's Creek Trails about a month in advance of their spring singing season. So everybody can just relax and put your shovels away. It's over.
Just let it melt.
Yes, and I would like to thank the Home Hardware in the Platzl for supplying me with shovels during this winter. I've worn one out and broken one, and they've been just offering a fantastic selection of shovels. So no meetings, but lots of shoveling.
So at an appropriate price, I hope. Thanks, Daryl. Jason.
Yeah, I actually had I'm not going to repeat Kent's update on the health center, but I had a meeting just prior to this one with the chamber, and I think I mentioned it last time, but one of the key items being discussed right now is July Fest, yay, which is exciting, and hopefully, conditions improve with respect to COVID by that time. So we're just being cautiously optimistic. But man, that would be something that would be awesome for the community. I have to piggyback on what Nigel said. Today, I think it was obviously confirmed what everybody was suspecting, and just a massive gut punch. But also echoing what Nigel said, amazing job by RCR in doing the best they can to offer not only the people in town, but the folks from out of town, the best experience they can possibly have. So, man, hats off to that group, because that is an awful, terrible situation. It makes me so angry sometimes. I can barely handle it that somebody would do this to our town. But I think the great thing about our town is that we're showing some resiliency, and somebody's ridiculously stupid act is not going to hold our town down. So kudos to everybody involved there. And the last thing I want to say, because I bring it up every couple months, but we've had a ton of snowfall this year, and man, it scares me when I see people walking out into traffic, crossing kind of our usual areas where there's no crosswalk. Please, folks, 20 feet left or right, most of the time you can find a crosswalk. It's much safer than trying to jump out into traffic. Hard for people to stop, hard for people to see right now, and yeah, we don't need any more bad news. So yeah, it would be great if everybody could just be mindful of that. It's 5 more seconds out of your day. That's it.
All right. Thanks for those comments, Councillor McBain. With respect to the arson activity up at RCR, people and people react to certain things in a very emotionally charged environment and don't think of the consequences of the actions. They look at lashing out for whatever reason in this case with RCR, but it's so important to understand the cascading effect that it has on the entire community, all the way from the business community through to everybody who relies on those businesses for employment. It's huge. And as everybody has pointed out, it has been a real kick in the gut. But we're having a pretty good winter so far, thanks to all the snow that in fact has come down. And I think we're going to have a strong finish to the winter. We just need to get the word out. And let's face it, we have so many more things to do here in Kimberley than just alpine ski. And if people will think about that and look at that, we have lots of rooms available at the inn. So let's fill them up. Okay, I've got a couple of things to report on. Believe it or not, as was mentioned here, we did have meetings before Christmas. I think the 13th or the 14th was the last meeting. And the presentation of the Jack Radcliffe Award was after the last meeting. And there were several of us that were able to attend when Clarence Jewell was given the Jack Radcliffe Award. Congratulations to Clarence on an incredibly well-earned recognition. I had the opportunity to meet a couple of times with the president of the chamber. We're talking strategies. We're talking, all things Kimberly, and it is really a pleasure to sit down with Matt and have a chat with somebody who's so committed in that job and to making the changes that need to be made to make sure that Kimberly has a vibrant chamber of commerce. I've also had a couple of meetings with a fellow by the name of Todd Pellerin. Todd is advocating on behalf of Kimberly right now for one of the curling Grand Slam events a couple of years out. We think that given the changes in the Grand Slam format and the kinds of venues that Sportsnet are looking for, we are in the sweet spot, and we're going to be advocating over the next number of months with Sportsnet to see if we can get on the schedule sometime over the next 3 or 4 years. They do plan these things that far out, and it gives us an opportunity to kind of get everything lined up as well. I think it would be awesome if we were able to pull something like that off. I was privileged to award the Stan Salikin Community Volunteer Award to Chantel Delaney from Sprout Grocery. Apologies, Chantel. She puts in a lot of hours outside of what she does over at Sprout Grocery. And congratulations, Chantel. It was a pleasure to present that to you. I had the usual minister and provincial meetings. Christmas and holiday season doesn't stop those things from happening. We had Minister Osborne's monthly update and the vaccine roundtable, which happens every couple of weeks. I participated in the deer count this year, as did, I think, Councillor Goodwin, Councillor Oakley, and Councillor Oakley. Councillor Roberts participates in the count every day when she looks out her kitchen window. Thanks for that, Sandra. I haven't heard any preliminary numbers, have you, on where things are at, but my sense was that the deer knew the count was happening on that Friday and they disappeared. And I'm not optimistic that those numbers are going to be as high as what they should be. We may need to do another deer count here in the next little while. Yeah, and I will leave it at that for now. There's been lots of activity behind the scenes with respect to the gymnastics club and the path forward there, as well as with CAR and the work that they're doing in the path forward there. So more to come on that as we go. Okay, Maurice, do we have any callers?
We don't have any callers, Mr. Mayor.
All right, hearing none, we do have an in-camera council meeting this evening, so I would like to have a motion to move in camera. Councillor Dallum moves and Councillor Kiddo seconds. All those in favor? Any opposed? All right, we'll take 2 minutes to move in camera. Thanks to everybody who participated in the YouTube channel tonight. Thank you.